Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Spirituality podcast. This is Time for Talking, or Emeris from timefortalking.com. Spiritual mentoring for your body, mind and soul. I'm your host on this show. In this podcast, you'll receive insights on all topics spirituality inspired from above for spiritual growth, awakening, remembering, soul purpose, divine inspiration, past lives, well-being for your body, mind and soul, and much more. Thanks for tuning in. My podcast provides you with numerous episodes with life-changing insights I received straight from the divine. Remember, we are all one. So by you listening to the episodes and also subscribing to the podcast, you can help to spread love and light to yourself and more people. The divine appreciates your assistance in making this world a more loving and light-filled place, and I thank you. So now let's dive in and talk spirituality. Today I like to talk to you about how different one's life is when one is walking consciously aware and living a spiritual life, and this daily. For a better understanding, picture this. Everyone probably remembers a time where not living very consciously yet, nor spiritually aware, nor willingly living one's soul purpose. After all, at that level one wouldn't even know one's soul purpose. During those quote-unquote unconscious times, simply always trying to find happiness outside of ourselves. Because of this, in hindsight, we can all see then that life was rather difficult, and we actually made it much harder for ourselves because of this, not being conscious yet. In those times, life will be filled with a lot of frustration, anger, fears, concerns, a lot of unanswered questions, sadness, the list can go on, but I think you get the gist here. In contrast, when living consciously aware, like I explained in another video, moving from 3D to 5D consciousness and what exactly this entails regarding actions and behavior, one fully understands and gets that happiness lies within oneself. All of this is replaced with much more happiness, joy, knowledge and understanding of one's soul purpose and the wisdom to aim to live it consciously and this daily. Much more awareness and also higher consciousness, and this in one's daily life, which all makes our lives much easier. However, for this it's necessary for us to take certain steps, amend our behavior, actions, our way of thinking and so forth. Basically, each of the difficult qualities experienced and lived during an unconscious life, which are simply quite detrimental to a happy life, as the more one lives the conscious way due to understanding and a changed way of life and a changed way of thinking and an understanding of the greater and full picture, so to speak, with knowing one's soul purpose, past lives, other lifetimes, one's karma, where healing is still required and so much more, all those more challenging aspects in our lives are replaced with a much more positive quality. Another change is that what is important to you when walking a conscious path, as your focus will move slightly away from the material world, with such conscious understanding of what life is really all about. However, it's amazing how many downloads I received while doing any kind of mundane activity like watching a movie or reading a book, etc., which shows that even those quote-unquote worldly activities do not hinder us and one can still raise one's consciousness while doing them. And yes, of course, we might also not particularly like certain things we planned for this incarnation, but when we recall having made those plans ourselves, we know that we are stuck with them now and better start liking them now, as otherwise we will be really disappointed with ourselves when having our life review after we leave this incarnation. So to positive and conscious living in our lives. It really makes such a difference that it really is quite shocking. I thought about this the other day, how much your entire outlook on everything in life really does change. And once you live like that, i.e. with those implemented changes, you are not likely to go back again either. It's just taking that first step that seems a huge obstacle or challenge, but it's so worth it, believe me. Like to also change your life like I mention here? I can help and assist you. Just contact me. timefortalking.com specializes in assisting you on your path. That's all for now. Get inspired. Thanks for listening till the end. You can always reach me on timefortalking.com with white light from here.